call this meeting of the Middletown City Historic Commission for April 17th, 2025 to order. Or can we begin with the roll call?
Roger Daniel.
Here.
Matthew Dixon.
Here.
Corey Carter.
Here.
Andy Brickler. Gabriel Shalen.
Here.
And Anthony Rossi.
We have a quorum. All right, the first item on the agenda is a preparatory to that. If all persons that are going to testify here before the Middletown Historic Commission raise their right hand, and do you swear or affirm that any testimony that you give here today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. All right. That preliminary matter out of the way, the first item on the agenda is the meeting minutes for the meeting of March 20th, 2025. Has everybody had an opportunity to receive and review those minutes?
Yes.
All right. I see we're going back to somewhat poorly edited transcription, but
And apparently my microphone don't work very well.
yes.
I believe it wasn't turned on.
That's better. That's what my wife does all the time.
Does anybody have any corrections, additions, or amendments to propose to the meeting minutes?
I do not.
It is fairly poorly edited, but it does appear to be a at least semi-faithful transcription of the substance of the meeting, so I guess we will leave it as it is. Anybody have a motion with regard to the minutes?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. The minutes of the March 20th, 2025 meeting of the Middletown Historic Commission are approved. Next item on the agenda is a certificate of appropriateness for 304 the Alameda for construction of a single-car garage. Do we have a staff report?
We do. The requested action is the issuance of a certificate of appropriateness for a single-car garage. It will be 16 by 20 gable style that matches the existing house. It will have a concrete footer and will be finished out in white wood siding and a metal roof. The property history is that the property at 304 Alameda was built in 1914 and is zoned as a residential property. It is a 0.34 acre lot, and the interior of the property is 2,238 square feet. It was last sold in November of 2019. And the proposal of the work is the installation of a single-car garage. This is a picture of the property. And this is the Middletown Development Code. They will need a zoning permit. This is the time limit for the applicant. This is the appeals process. And this was showing that they paid their $25 certificate of appropriateness fee. This is their application. This is an image of what the structure would look like on the property. And this is a drawing of where the garage would be, which it would be directly behind the property. And this is an image, an aerial view of what the property looks like now. And that concludes my staff report.
Is the applicant present? There being no response, is there any member of the public that wants to speak in support of the application? There being no response, is there any member of the public that wishes to speak in opposition to the application? There being no response, is there any preliminary discussion amongst the members of the commission?
Have they started work on this at all?
No, I don't believe so.
I looked it up on Google from a street view. If they're saying that this structure matches the house, I think in the future we'll need more than an aerial view. And I'm just gonna say, if they were here, I would ask, they said it matches in the application, I would ask which part of it matches the house at all. I mean, it doesn't.
Maybe the concrete floor.
Yeah. So I'm, eager to hear what you guys have to say, but I'm probably gonna.
The color
that's-
and maybe the patterning.
The house and the other garage appear to be hip roofs, where this is completely a gable roof, which is what she says.
Mhm.
And I have some problem looking at it, the picture of what it's gonna look like, and the sketch as to where it's gonna go, as to which way it's turned. Because the garage doors on the one picture are on the end of the gable. And for that drawing to be somewhat accurate, it would have to be on the side. And then I wonder whether there's concrete, whether it's actually done on a concrete slab or not. Because the only thing that they talk about is concrete footers. But, and then of course it's a metal roof. This is the first metal roof I'm aware of in a historic district since I've been around.
We go back to the front view of the property. I'm not seeing any white or any wood siding or any metal roofing or any gable. Yeah, I think you're right. I'm not exactly sure in what sense the proposed garage matches the existing house.
It looks like, from the picture, I'm guessing it's either plywood or particle board siding. But I don't know that. It doesn't say that.
Okay, so we appear to have questions about in what sense they mean that it matches the house, whether there'll be a concrete footer or a concrete slab, and what sort of wood material the garage is to be made out of. And possibly questions about the nature of the metal roof. Do we have a motion with respect to the application?
Do we have an option to deny until, like, if they modify this application that they've already paid for?
We can state that the supporting documentation is not sufficient for us to make a judgment as to whether or not the certificate of appropriateness should be entered.
We should do that.
You could also table the discussion to see if the applicant would come in with more information as well.
I mean, where I stand, they would have to present an entirely new form of this garage.
Well, I mean, they're not gonna make it out of brick. They're not gonna have a tiled roof. I mean, no matter what we do. we have approved, not in the historic district, but other places, metal buildings a lot because it's so expensive now to build anything with wood. Um, So we've done that a lot, but we haven't done that in the historic district.
I'm kind of surprised that even the paint, they said they're gonna finish it in white paint.
There's a little bit of white
and
paint.
red.
I'd go with-
Seems more cream or a yellow color. I can't tell really from.
But I agree, we need more information.
I mean, I think it's important that if we table it, we table it explicitly upon the basis that the application is insufficient. Because that makes it clear that the time is not running against us as far as needing to act on it.
Should we be specific, a little more specific and say that we can't tell how, how closely this matches the rest of the buildings on the lot?
Yes. And we are uncertain whether it's a concrete slab or as they say, a concrete footer. And we don't know what sort of wood material the garage is constructed of.
Yeah, if you look at that picture that's up there now, it looks like vertical boards. And the only way you can get that is plywood that's been solved and made to look that way.
Does any member of the commission wish to make a motion with respect to the application?
I'll let you do it since I'm not sure exactly the wording.
All right. Well, I'm meant to be presiding, so really I wouldn't be the one making or seconding the motions.
Okay, make a motion that we table this until we receive further information, specifically as to how this building compares to the other buildings on the property. Does that sound all right?
I'll second.
All right. Question before the commission is tabling of the application and on the basis that we need additional information regarding how the proposed structure compares to the existing structures on the property. Please call all the vote.
Roger Daniel,
Yes.
Matthew Dixon,
Yes.
Corey Carter,
Yes.
Gabriel Shaven.
Yes.
The motion is approved. The application is tabled until the next regularly scheduled meeting of the Middletown City Historic Commission. Can you please advise the applicant of our concerns and the new date for the application?
Yes, I will.
All right. Next, we have new and old business. Is there any new or old business to be raised before the commission?
Yes, for the historic preservation plan, we have some new comments that we received. And I didn't know if you wanted me to read them or if you wanted to read them yourselves, but these were some of the comments that we had received that, oh, yes.
Are these, can we turn these on or are they?
Yeah, they should be all on. I double-checked them before the meet. Oh, are you talking about the monitors? Oh.
I'm blind as a bat, so.
Yeah, it's
at the okay, bottom, cool.
Right here.
All right.
Let me get yours. Yeah, no problem. Okay. But these were some of the comments. Did you want me to read them out loud, or do you want to read amongst yourselves?
Let's see.
There were several pages that we included here.
And if the text is, if we can just include it in as an exhibit to the minutes, I think we can.
Okay,
Probably don't need to recite it into the record.
okay. And then did we have someone that wished to speak for the preservation plan? Sure. Yes. Or,
To be safe.
All right.
I do.
Do you swear or affirm that any testimony you give before the Historic Commission will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Can you please speak and state your name and residence for the,
Marty Kohler, 508 South Main Street, Middletown. Wow, you get a reverberation from that. I'm right in the middle. I didn't really prepare any comments, but I've read Gabe's comments and I agree with his. One of the things I noticed on here, I'm not sure that they're aware, but the Manchester Hotel and the Snyder Ford building are both on the National Register of Historic Places. We've got several that were not mentioned in the plan, and it seems like for completeness, it'd be nice to both list the ones that are on the National Register and the ones that are locally designated but not on the National Register, because there's kind of a significance for how we treat those buildings. One that's on the National Register is the Deerdoff Farmhouse. Anybody know the Deerdoff Farmhouse? They list it in Franklin, but it's in the corporation, was in the corporation boundaries of Middletown. It's just north of Atrium Medical Center, and it was torn down about 5 years ago. So that was kind of a loss. I guess my general comment is when you're looking at this plan, to ask yourself, what will you be doing differently as a result of the adoption of this plan? Is it going to change your mode of operation any? Is it going to stay the course? Is it going to change the mode of operation for staff? Are there specific deliverables in this, things that we need to be doing in furtherance of historic preservation? It seems to me a little light in that area. We list all the review criteria and the do's and don'ts and all that kind of stuff. And my concern with that is we can kind of beat people over the head with the standards, but unless there's kind of a carrot and an incentive and programs, sometimes you get more pushback by just, hammering people with code. I mean, it's in our American DNA to not preserve things. We throw things away. We build buildings with the intent in 30, 40 years we're going to knock it down and build something else. So it's not an easy thing to convince people to preserve things. And sometimes it's fairly easy. I remember I used to work in historic preservation in Lebanon, and vinyl windows came up constantly. And I would ask people, why do you need vinyl windows? Well, my windows won't work. Well, are they painted shut? And I said, no, the sash cord broke. And I'm like, okay, for a $5 sash cord, you can save the window and use it. Or you can pay $1,000 for a cheap vinyl replacement. And it just seems like, once you go the sash cord route, and the logical thing is, well, I can get 20 contractors in here to put in vinyl windows. I can't find somebody to put in a sash cord. So we went around trying to cultivate lists of people who could do various repairs. And I know the city can't recommend specific contractors, but sometimes if you have a resource list, and having done rehab recently, trying to find plumbers, electricians, HVAC people, anyone that, you tell them it's a 130-year-old house and they just say, no, we're not doing it. So it's not easy, is what I'm saying. And sometimes trying to come up with resources, and that may be even working with Butler Tech when they're teaching people how to do roofs. Can they teach them how to replace a slate that's broken on a roof? Because a broken slate on the roof doesn't mean that you have to tear the whole thing off and put on, asphalt shingles or that type of thing. So there may be strategies where you develop partnerships with other people who have a hand in historic preservation. And I would say even our neighborhood associations are willing to kind of roll up our sleeves and pitch in where possible or appropriate. The Historical Society, there's a group called Butler County Chaps. It's Citizens for something preservation services that is a good resource for finding people to do preservation projects, developers, builders, carpenters that all have skills can be utilized to get things done. So I'm asking, maybe think a little outside the box of how you can bring other things to the table that will help accomplish things other than simply enforcing the standards. I guess that's it. Thanks.
Thank you.
I was hoping Mr. Rodriguez would have been with us today. He apparently did a lot of the drafting on this, or rewrites.
Yeah, he left early today. I'm not sure. I can ask about him attending the next one, though, if you would like to speak with him.
I mean, I gave most of my comments last time we met, but one of the things that I think we're lacking here is we're not really telling people, giving them any real guidance as to what they need to do if they need to do something to their house. We're not telling them at what point you need to come to the city and get permission, and we're not telling them what they can do without having to go to the city. But we go into a lot of detail as to what's a Georgian home, or what's a Victorian home, and all this sort of thing. People aren't going to take a Victorian and make it a Georgian, I don't think, in most of our historic districts. So I'm not sure what purpose that really serves. And I don't think anybody's going to really build a new Victorian or a new Georgian home, like in the Oakland group. So I have some problems with the way it's designed to begin with, which in a way is kind of like the Gold Book or Red Book, whatever it was that we used to have that was done 30 years ago. It went through the different types of houses too.
That's the preservation.
I'm not sure that really helps anything.
That's the preservation plan where we're saying, these are the structures that we are wanting to preserve, and this is why we are wanting to preserve them.
Well, that and there's 2 or 3 that were contemporary that I know don't exist around in Middletown. But anyway, those are my comments.
I think at the highest level of thinking about this, I think we just need more time. It needs to be taken back and worked on to flesh out some of the. I mean, I have 10 pages of comments. I'm not going to bore everybody with that here, but it's just not ready. I don't want to rush this forward and create a document that is lacking. So that's at the highest level. We need more time, and it needs to be worked on more.
Yeah, don't worry. It's still very much in the editing process.
I think
It's been in process for probably 2 years now.
At least. Possibly as many as 5.
I think good job of answering, you know, the what. Here's the structures we're focusing on. And you know, it provides good information about, I guess, how to restore, but there's no connections to, you know, who to seek help from. There's nothing like that. And most importantly, for me, it doesn't say how the city is going to apply these standards in Middletown.
But the plan isn't meant to be too concrete. It's meant to be the eagle eye view. It's meant to be more abstract, more general. It's meant to be something that will stay in place for 40 years and not have to be
Sure.
altered every few years as different city policies go into place and different
Sure,
commissioners come and go.
that's true, but
But I think it really ought to tell people how this commission is going to be looking at changes they want to make to their houses. And to me, that was really what I was looking for in a plan.
Well, the idea was that we were going to have multiple things. It's like we're going to have a preservation plan, we're going to have guidelines, and we're going to have commission bylaws, and all of those things will be available to everyone, but it's like we're going to deal with it one piece at a time. We're going to get a plan, and then we'll get guidelines, or we'll get bylaws, and then we'll do whichever one is left, and but just getting even one piece of it seems to be an insurmountable.
Yeah, if they each take 5 years, none of us will be around to worry about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
to respond to what you said, Matt, I'm not saying that the plan should recommend a specific course of action, but maybe listing options for courses of actions or examples or what other cities have done, sharing information like that. It just makes it more concrete. And looking at a list of national guidelines, I mean, how do we tie that to Middletown? What is the city going to do with that? I don't see that in there. Another thing, probably talking too much here, but the plan says, page 71, looking forward, it says, by preserving landmarks, Middletown not only honors its heritage, but also strengthens social cohesion among residents. Its connection to the past can enhance community engagement as local events and educational programs centered around historic sites, encourage residents to come and celebrate their shared history. So it's saying, it's making these statements about the benefits of historic preservation, but it's not, again, it's not tying it to Middletown. When they say fostering a sense of community identity and pride, give an example, like the homecoming parade goes down South Main. There's a reason. I mean, I know Barnett's is at the end of it, but Barnett's is at the end of Verity Parkway as well. There's a reason they go down South Main. They're proud of it. They're proud of it, as they should be. Mention it. Say that in here. Let's see. Honors its rich heritage and strengthens social cohesion among its residents. Again, we could have an example in here. We have a lot of remarkable churches in Middletown that do exactly that. Improve social cohesion. I mean, mention that. Say that in the plan itself. Preserved historic areas often attract visitors, stimulating local business and creating opportunities for economic development. We have examples of that in Middletown. Why are they not in the plan? Why can't they say thousands of people come from all over Southwest Ohio and the Midwest to take the candlelight tour on South Main and in the Highlands District? Why not mention the Windermere? It's the best, voted the best wedding venue in Butler County. A big part of that is it's the architecture. Why not say that? Sorg Opera House, same story. It's just, it lacks in that substance currently. So I think they need to do a better job of tying it to Middletown, making it our.
Including pictures of our buildings.
Yeah, not other buildings.
Right.
I mean, that's, yeah.
I'm not too sure what happened with the consultant. Is she still working on this?
Yes, we still have someone, that is going through, that we send edits to, and then they send us edits back. Are you talking about, was there someone years prior?
Well, when we started this, do you remember the name? The consulting firm? Well, she made at least 2 or 3 presentations.
Oh, okay. That must have been before I was on the commission.
It would have been.
Okay.
But with Mr. Rodriguez appearing last time, I thought maybe he was replacing the consultant.
Oh, no, he still works for the city. He's just one that's been mainly in charge of the edits.
Was that the preservation plan or the update to the code?
I think it was a preservation plan. I could be wrong, but
I won't keep reading straight from my comments, I promise. It's the last thing I say probably, but another thing, major issue for me is in this plan, the city can put forth properties that it would make sense to designate them and preserve them without actually saying we're going to preserve this specific house. It could say, here's some examples of structures and properties in Middletown that would be appropriate for designation. That way you're not, committing yourself to anything or overpromising. But it makes the plan more concrete, and it makes it more, people can imagine it better. Here's what kind of things we'll be doing. And I wrote in my comments, some examples of those properties. Forest Hills, for sure. We've had multiple presidents golfing at Forest Hills. The Francis Titus, is that his name? The yellow one? Yeah. That one's not designated at all?
It's not on either register.
Like that's, I mean,
the
the Underground Railroad went through there. That's gotta be on the register eventually. And again, I'm not saying the city should say, here's the properties we're gonna designate. But I see no reason not to list the major ones that are appropriate and say, this is an example of something we would designate in the future. Here's how the city's going to do it. Or here's how we would, hypothetically, if so called upon by our citizens. There's no reason that stuff shouldn't be in there. It's the whole point of it.
so where do we go from here?
Well, I was going to submit more of these edits to go in to the plan, unless there were things you didn't like that were submitted, and then possibly do another review once they get back to us with everything that we've been asking for.
We have this, was this in the report or in the email?
Yeah, I can send it to you again. No, it's fine.
I mean, I don't think I saw your comments until we got here.
Yeah, it's because I submitted them at 2 a.m.
Okay.
Yeah, they were put in 3 p.m. this afternoon, I think.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
Busy guy.
That's what the whole time period's for.
So we need any kind of motions or anything, Matthew, besides adjourn?
I have 2 more new and old business just to update you on, but I was going to if you wanted any other, if you wanted to add anything else, or I was going to wait till all of that was done.
I have nothing to add at this point.
I think somebody brought this up a while back, but I should have had the address in mind. But there is a white house on South Main in the 300 block that was purchased last year or maybe a little longer ago.
304.
304, yeah. Oglesby House or something like that. I think Goldman actually lived there before he built 121. Anyway, they are working on that house and removed the brackets. And I don't know whether they plan on putting them back up, but if they don't, that's a big problem. If they haven't, I would ask the city to be in communication with them about, making sure
They
they have.
have, they removed half of the brackets. I was hoping they kept them aside for, to use as a template, and to put new ones up.
We,
They removed them behind there, they replaced the fascia boards for the most part.
Yeah, I figured they were working on it and would put them back, but I just want to.
Now, they've gone through, I think they're working on their third general contractor right now.
Oh, and the 800 block of South, or the 700 block of South Main, there's a brick house on the corner. It came to our attention that the owner and seller is telling people that it is a commercial, in a commercial zone, and it is not. So if the city hasn't reached out to them yet,
She tried to get that designated as a B&B, at least once. We've cited them a number of times for maintenance issues.
is the yellow house in,
The other side of the street?
is that in the district?
Yeah.
Um,
The one with the tile roof? Yeah, that's in the district. Goes down to Betsy's house.
I'm listing these off here, but I also heard that they were doing, not a bed and breakfast, but, I don't know, is Marty allowed to help me out here? Marty, do you know?
I've heard they're doing drug rehab, like in-house drug rehab.
A non-residential use.
what was that address? Or do you remember, like, where that property?
Am I allowed to look at my phone real quick?
For the one, the 300 block, we have started a paper trail for that one because they have not responded to our letters about the brackets. The one on 700, I believe, in the past, there were issues. I hadn't heard of anything recently, but we'll look into that.
They were responded to the earlier one.
The yellow one is 715.
Now, that's almost across the street from Jackie Phillips. So I'm surprised if they're doing some kind of drug rehab that she's not aware of that and jumping on top of it.
I mean, my wife and I walk down there pretty much every night, and I've never seen any activity at all there, so. But, it's supposed to be a residential use, so. That's all I talked a lot today.
Okay. An update on the Manchester, just to let you know, because there's a fence up. The roof and part of the brick, they are spilling on the street as far as the sidewalk goes and then shattering in the street. So that's why the fence is up. And someone broke in today and Larry came in off duty to fix the lock and set it back up and everything. So if you saw that on your way in, that's what that commotion was about and everything. They're trying to set it up so that people don't try to get in while things are falling off of it. But that's sort of a normal occurrence there. But I just wanted to update you on that one, that is why there's a fence there, just to try to prevent that from happening.
That's the reason they put the fence up around the Snyder building also.
Yeah.
A year or two ago.
Yeah, just a liability thing, just to make sure you wouldn't want someone to get hit or hit themselves with a brick in that area. So they're just doing that just temporarily to try to keep people away for liability reasons. And then lastly, for the last bit of business, I don't know if Casey had mentioned because I was outside, she will be taking over as I moved on to the economic housing side, where I've got the home improvement grant coming up this summer and several other projects that are, as the weather gets better, that they're moving me to. She's our new zoning administrator. So she's working right with Claire along with these type of certificates, approvals, the zoning permits and process. So she'll be able to navigate that better while I get shifted into a different direction. So she will be taking over for you guys. But I'll finish, this meeting out and everything. But if you have any questions, eventually she'll email you. And then you can direct those questions to her.
Welcome.
Is there any other business to be brought before the Middletown Historic Commission? There being no response, do we have a motion?
I move that we adjourn.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. This meeting of the Middletown City Historic Commission is adjourned.
You had to do more than take notes, didn't you? You had to do more than take notes, didn't you? We did discuss the Manchester and Snyder building.
At our last meeting.
Don't know if what's gonna happen, but if they pass a motion to tear it down, I guess we probably won't put it in. I would hope they would. We brought that up.
Unless they determine that it's an imminent danger to the community and it has to be demolished on an emergency basis.
I mean, like bricks falling off and hitting people.
Yes. If something like that were to happen, then the city could simply demolish it.
Okay. Fine.
I'll see you guys.
Yeah, see ya.
Yeah, well, good to see you.